Every single Nigeria has a story. On this podcast today, we are celebrating the story of every single Nigerian living in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. I'm talking about those people that have jackpot and left us behind right here in Nigeria. Today, we're discussing the Nigerian in every Nigerian. Oh, we're discussing the Nigeria in every Nigerian. Right,
Yeah.
right. That's why I'm glad I have somebody here to help discuss this discussion today because on this new series, we tend to discuss more intentional topics on this new podcast series, and I feel like there cannot be anything intentional than this Nigerian spirit that we need to celebrate, because oftentimes we find ourselves just acting normal, like it's a normal thing to be Nigerian. Someone said of recent that it should be in your CV that you are in Nigeria. Just say what work experience you are. Say I am in Nigeria, surviving being in Nigeria. So person says you even have a bragging right if you are not in Nigeria to say I am from Nigeria. And I feel like that's why it's important we have that conversation today, right? It's actually a studio episode. What I mean by studio episode is it means that this conversation would not just be held by me and my guests in the studio, but I think for the very first time I want to feature, like the way musicians will say, I want to feature, right? I want to feature my crew members because we had a lot of fun prepping for this section, for this discussion today. But first off, let me introduce Stallion, right? Yeah. Stallion, the creative director of Superpower, and of course the creative director of Hello Shubo, one of the fastest growing brands from this space. You're welcome, bros.
All right, thank you for having me today.
Thank you for having me today. Just like that. Let them know that you're the super boss, and you're the emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the brand lord. You know,
I'm Stallion, the initiator of Sip and Paint Nigeria,
right,
and the co-creative director of Hello Shubo.
Right.
Yes.
You know, I like the fact that you were able to conceptualize an idea and scale the idea to be super profitable and gain a lot of visibility. I'm talking about the Hello Shubo brand.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's a story that people knew how it started and people can see how it's going. And that's one reason why we have decided to invite you for this conversation today, because in this new series, we're always looking out for people that can tell personal stories and people that are in touch with the subject matter pattern we're discussing. All right, and I'm glad that you were able to make it to the studio. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Let me also introduce the people that will join in on this conversation, because you might not just be hearing my voice and the voice of Stallion. You might be hearing the voice of my cinematographer, the person of Tolulope Goddess, one of the biggest from this space, the cinematographer extraordinaire. Tolulope, I say something now. You just hear?
Yeah, I'm good. What's popping?
Today we're discussing Nigerian spirit, the Nigerian in every Nigeria, or the Nigeria in every Nigerian, or what it means to be a Nigerian. And of course, I also have Davina. Davina, say hi from that space. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
And Davina is our sound man on this particular side.
Sound woman.
Sound woman. Oh, okay. We have Lois. How you doing?
What's popping?
Lois is our head sound engineer right here at the show Glass Media. You know, she's at the height of sound engineering, if you know what that means. And of course, we have the producer for the Things About Things podcast, Zenzi. How you doing?
Hi. Wagwan.
And then we have a guest in the studio that came with our guest. So the guest of our guest is in the studio. Someone looking very beautiful in one corner. Dolly, yeah. I was tempted to add Dolly P, or just Dolly, right?
Dolly
what?
Dolly the Diva.
Dolly the Diva.
I thought it's Dolly Parton.
Dolly the Diva.
Finish.
You know, we have two Dolakpo in the studio this afternoon.
Yep.
With us, you know, Dolakpo and Dolakpo, Dolly the Diva and Dolly P. Right here at the. Oh, I take full responsibility. Now we're discussing. Let's just roll, right? Let's roll. We're discussing the Nigerian spirit. I feel like Nigerians have a brag right, like I said before.
Yeah.
Well, what does it mean when someone goes out there and say, "No, follow me talking here. No, look me like that. I'm in Nigeria." What does it mean?
I think that's because every Nigerian is literally born into a struggle by default. Like sometimes, even from birth, now your hustle don't start.
Right.
Because some people, you hear some funny story about some people. They'll tell you, the day when they gave birth to them, maybe lights off. For
something happened that may even influence their name.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I believe every Nigerian, once you are born into a struggle. Unless if you are the very few among the privileged. And gradually, I think we're having the middle class phase facing out, and we're just having the rich and the poor. And the rich now, I think, with everything Nigeria economy is saying now,
Even the rich are under tension.
like that number is dwindling day by day.
Right.
So now the poor, who are the people that you hear them sharing their grass to grace story now, by default they are born into a struggle, and it is just through these individuals that they are not taking their family. So you can imagine just an individual putting all the weight of that pressure on himself or herself, that when I make it, I'm not just making it, my people are making it.
Right.
So that is that struggle every Nigerian carries out there, within and outside the shores of the
But
country.
what is it in Nigerians? That let's talk as though we are not Nigerians. Let's talk as though we are foreigners now.
Okay.
What is it in Nigerians that make Nigerians always want to stand out? So like, I don't know if you get it. Like, will make Nigerians always want to. They would always want to, let's say, show themselves. You know, someone is doing something in any part of the world. If a Nigerian is to enter that same industry or that same space to do that same thing, you will discover that Nigerian will do it. I don't know if you feel me.
For me, Sha, it is how do I put it now? It's from the beginning. You know, let's start from the sun. The sun in Nigeria shines. The sun in Nigeria, even the breeze in Nigeria blows different.
Right.
So it's like from the beginning, right from the day you were born, like it is in the blood. It comes with the flow. It's just
I
there.
feel like
Natural survival.
It's just there.
so Nigerians have this, I don't know how to put it,
I
but
think the word is resilience.
right.
And like this new Burna Boy's funny quotes going up and down now, you go explain
You
that.
go explain
No
that.
evidence.
So
The quote says,
Nigerians always want to show that evidence.
like if you don't make it, there's no proof that you've tried, that you've struggled. And I feel like that's one thing that foils Nigerians. Whiskey almost said the same thing of recent when he said that if you tell a Nigerian that if I keep doing this stuff, I'm going to make money out of it. Say Nigerians go sleep, they say, so far I go make money out of this thing, I go stay here. You understand? I go remain for this space. The story of Burna Boy, a Nigerian boy in Port Harcourt, just like Timaya, grew up in Port Harcourt, I think also has this affiliation with a Western family. You know, sorry, not affiliation with the Western family. He's from the West. Just that his upbringing is from the South, like as a Port Harcourt boy. From the lowest and humble background, someone was able to skyrocket himself. Said, I want to make it. I want to be amongst the best musicians in the world. And today we are seeing him sell off large capacity spaces just to push his music. Do you feel like the economy or the leaders or the schooling has something it does that makes Nigerians, that toughens the skin of Nigerians, that make Nigerians say, okay, since the economy is not working, since the government is not working, since our parents have failed us, let me try to push out myself, and then in the end of it all, make us successful.
Yes, yeah, you're right. What I say about Nigerians is Nigerians don't sit and mop about a difficult situation. So they just, yes, it might get to them and they might think, now I'm referencing they because we are talking as foreigners now. They might think, okay, yes, this situation is a very bad one,
Right.
but they don't want to sit and mop and dwell on it. They hear it gets to them a little, but immediately they are thinking about the plan B.
Right.
So a typical Nigerian have a plan A, B, C, D, E.
If this doesn't work, it has to be this. And
Yeah.
wow, makes sense. You know, at some point, no matter how bad people try to paint the image of Nigerians living abroad, they still have this pride to go around and say, I am a Nigerian, and as a result, I cannot bow down my head in shame. The richest people in the medical line, I learned in the US, are actually Nigerian. I mean, one of the richest doctors, most of the most creative medical practitioners in the US and in the UK, most of them are Nigerians, because Nigerians have this relentless spirit. You know, I can't see a Nigerian that says, I want to, for example, I want to give myself off to a therapist to, I don't know, that's what we're saying when we're private. I want to give myself up to a therapist to, you know, help me get myself recovered after a long period of time. Except in a rehab, the person go. But a therapist, the way Westerners will go see a therapist, I'm not sure.
I even think that's even a black thing.
You know-
Even in the West, you see lots of the black. When they hear another black man or a black woman going to a
I go to a
therapist,
therapist.
they are alarmed like, what's going on with you?
Going to see a therapist.
So I think it's a white thing, but the westernization of the world that the black community are accepting is making us like shift a little bit
Right.
into what they use as their own coping mechanism. And that is, I think their coping mechanism is not as effective as ours.
Right.
It exposes them in a little way.
Right.
Yes, it's helpful, but it also exposes them in such a way that as much as they used to have the therapist and everything, the West, when you check the data, the West, they actually commit suicide,
Yes.
go into depression and everything more than the black people.
Mm.
But now, because we are accepting that westernization, it's gradually affecting us because we are trying to be who they are and not stick to who we are.
If we say we should define the Nigerian spirit, how would we define it? You know, we have the American dream, and everybody can define the American dream. But we have a term here. So, okay, let's define. See, I don't know if you get it. Let's define the Nigerian spirit. Everybody here should have a definition of the Nigerian spirit. To me, the Nigerian spirit is I know go fuck up. Like, I have too many expectations on me. I cannot fuck up. How would you define the Nigerian spirit?
The Nigerian spirit to me all win away.
Like, road must come outside.
Oh, okay.
You must say, even though the road block, I go find a way out.
Even if they mount fence,
I go
that's
bust
fine,
out.
Yeah, all win away.
I don't feel go back if I don't make up.
You go explain.
I go explain.
You go explain tire. I don't know. Dolly, right?
Yes.
The Nigerian spirit. How would you
I
define
think
it?
my own is I don't want to explain. I don't want to explain.
You want
I
to
don't
show results.
I want to
show
evidence.
results.
I don't just want to explain.
Right? That thing now, Nigerian spirit.
That's also an explanation.
Like that. How dare I go talk?
I would like respond to this. Nigerian spirit to me is man must chop. Man got
True.
chop.
True that.
And for man to chop, man must work.
Rema.
Don't leave me.
Don't take
feel like you live like you know to me they think I'm to me they reason.
I know they reason anything. Like just Nigeria with you. So far food the remaining one don't really concern person now. Just find anything where you go make you survive. Anything where you go lay your hands on where you go make you survive.
But how do Nigerians manage to even I don't know, this is on a serious note right now. Because maybe I don't know how to act it, but it's maybe that's not even my natural disposition, Mr. Steve, right? In a crumbling economy, in a space where the government has failed us, just give it 24 hours and Nigerians are okay.
Adapt.
I don't know how we do it. I'm a very sensitive person, but I don't think every other Nigerians are like that. Nigerians can catch cruise around the most sensitive, the most fatal situation. I don't know. I don't know how do Nigerians do it. Let me talk like I'm not in Nigeria because sometimes I can't understand Nigerians honestly. How do Nigerians the price of PMS would increase from say 300 naira to 700 naira for example tomorrow. Nigerians will shout, Nigerians will protest, but give Nigerians a few days. Nigerians will adapt. We're catching crews around it. The person you want to win election does not win in your state or in the country. Give Nigerians 24 hours. Nigerians will catch crews around it. And we'll just move on like nothing has happened. We're in Nigeria when the Lekki toll gate massacre happened, that the government claimed it wasn't a massacre, that it was just gunshot. But after a while, although it still pricks hard that a lot of rubbish happened in that, during that protest, but after a while, we can still see Nigeria. Just like after a while, few days later, I started seeing skits, comedy skits about the Lekki toll gate protest, about how persons were protesting for end brutality, and people were not focusing, and then they follow girl or they find love. How do Nigerians do it? As in, can you explain? Why I'm asking how we explain this because there are a lot of Nigerians that do not really understand that 95% of Nigerians are carefree about what happens in the country. We're just going to be okay. There are still some. I feel like that's one important reason why we're having this conversation. There are just some small percent of Nigerians that, like you said, the westernization of the world is beginning to influence their disposition.
Yeah.
That they are they are now thinking outside the scope of the Nigerian spirit we're
Nigeria.
talking about. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
A lot of persons, any little thing they are gaslighted, any little thing they are depressed, any little but bro, you are Nigerian. Learn from the 95% of Nigerians. So that's why I feel like we should have that conversation. How do you think Nigerians get over stuff and come out shining brighter?
So I think one thing is Nigeria are acceptance of one fact that the government has failed them. So that single fact makes it like I'm my own government. So now the way we are run my own life, I'm the alpha and omega of my life. I'm the one that I'm going to shape my own future.
Right.
So we don't, in the West now
They are dependent
on the government. Even if you that's why you see a Nigerian disabled like
going out on the streets,
not to work. Not all of them are beggars. You see some of them, they will even go out there.
Yeah.
You see some disabled people, you see them forging ahead in whatever it is they set their mind on. So the fact that you don't already accept, say, government don't feel you, you are your own government, it makes you want to actually go out there and make something for yourself. Because without doing that, nobody got you.
So no matter the craziness of the country, no matter the insecurity, no matter the problems, Nigeria, because they have understood that the government will send us. Nobody is coming through for us.
True that.
We have to come through for ourselves. I also feel like the Nigerian educational system, because today on this section, we're actually trying to give thumbs up to Nigerians. It's not every time we come here and start saying, Nigerians is this, Nigerians is that. That's why we're not focusing on the government as concerning what they've done and what they've not done. We're focusing on Nigerians. I also feel like, in as much as our Nigerian educational system is not great enough, it's not good enough, it's not what we want to see, there are a lot of Nigerians that when they leave this space, haven't learned under the self-same educational system that they pass through. They would excel and even do better than, I don't know if you understand, they would excel and even do better than Americans, that they are counterpart, that they are colleagues in the UK and the US and Sweden and Netherlands.
Yeah, the reason for that, I think, is now when in Nigerian, our own kind of education we have in this country goes beyond the four walls of the classroom.
Right.
As you are learning in the classroom, you learn on streets.
Right.
You are learning on the streets, you are learning at home.
Right.
So, and check it out now, most undergraduates now in school, they are not just focusing on their course of study.
They're already doing all that stuff.
You could just see undergraduates, if not a girl, she's learning how to make makeup, sell
WhatsApp CEO.
Hell, we have a lot of WhatsApp CEOs, Instagram CEOs.
Right.
If you are male, you're already probably learning how to
barb,
engineer,
how to do
barbing, cinematography,
going to site, right?
all the likes. And now with the tech space now, even if you are studying art, you are studying
everybody
literature,
wants to know what's up with tech.
you see a lot of Nigerians going on Google and trying to find one course to do, going on Coursera and the likes.
Right.
So I believe and for them in the West, a lot of them, their education system is very, very seamless. Like you have the virtual learning. Before it was COVID that made the Nigerian space accept virtual learning.
Right.
But they can do that. They can have breaks. They have the summer classes. Now, because of all these new private schools, that's when we start having summer class.
Right.
If you don't feel, you go repeat class for a year
I know,
before.
right? I swear.
But now
repeat class.
But now you're having summer classes.
Yes.
And with the whole don't let's do the old grading thing for people. So the ones in school now, you're having everybody. Even if you are like 13th, you have not failed, but somehow. That time, if you are 9th in a class of 100, you are scared to take your report card home because your dad or mom will tell you the person will be first. You get to it.
Wait, what you are saying right now, it not look as though there's a generation of this Nigerian spirit.
Yeah.
Do you think that with time the Nigerian spirit might even fade away? Like that Nigerian spirit of resilience and pushing. It can't be like say the children where they raise now.
Yeah, because
they are getting too complacent. They are getting too westernized. The Montessori schools and the
it's going to happen, and it's not just here. Even I was seeing a Piers Morgan content recently where it was saying people who are very sensitive now. Everybody's working on the eggshells now.
Right.
Now, when you have inter-house sports in some Western schools now, you see them. Pikin will carry first, don't carry first, second, third.
Oh,
but now when you have all of them will get medals.
Medal for I think they call it for showing up or for something.
Yeah, and we only know medals are just the first runner up and the second runner up. But now, no, they don't want to do that. They want
So
everybody
just for you to
say,
come up, you should have a male that
let a kid or let anybody know that okay, they failed. They should do better if they
Right.
want to get that medal in their neck.
Right.
They have to work for it. They have to do better. But when you are rewarding failure now, I would say you don't expect that person to strive harder than they should have done or push harder. So gradually, that Nigerian spirit may actually face out if you are not careful.
let's take it personal, because we have a few times. Producers just said we have gone past 20 minutes in this conversation, but I feel like it's about time we shared some personal stories of the Nigerian in Nigerians. Right.
Okay.
I know how the person with the largest Nigerian mobile network, Glo,
Okay.
Adenuga,
Mike
right?
Adenuga.
Mike Adenuga. I know how he was able to scale his life from being a tailor to becoming a taxi driver. And then I think he made his first 1 million. After he made his first million, he then invested into the gas. Davina, right? He
Yep.
then invested into what?
Into oil and gas.
Oil and gas and the energy sector. The Mike Adenuga was celebrating right now. I feel like Nigerians might not even open up to you or accept you if you don't have a grass to grace story. I don't know if you understand. I feel like the proof that you are Nigerian is that your grass to grace story. You should be able to come out and say, I was here before, or my family was here before, and then we've gotten to that point.
And funny how one of the presidents we've had in this country actually played on that. I had no shoes.
Don't do that to my brother. Don't do that to my Bayelsa brother. I will not mention names.
So
But it's not the only one that played on it. A lot of BBN Nigerian guys, the Lecon, all of them.
Even the past president did it too when he said
Really? He said no get shoot.
no, like he had I think he said he had just one cow that people even this form before he took that people donated
Money to buy the form
Yeah.
for him. I remember.
So and you have a lot of all these stories even from Nigerians that are not even doing whatever they
Right.
do from here.
Yes.
You see the Ade Tokunbo story.
Tell me.
They have families like I think there are 3 brothers in the
Right.
Greece national team that's actually Nigerians.
Right.
So when there was a movie about them on Netflix,
Ade Tokunbo.
Yeah, Ade
Brothers.
Tokunbo, yeah.
Okay.
But when you see them, you must have seen it on these basketball jerseys.
Yes.
It's spelled Ate Tokunbo.
Okay.
So that's the Greece alphabet to
What's
spell
their story?
Ade Tokunbo. So they migrated from Nigeria. Their parents moved them from Nigeria. But when they migrated, I think they were just. It was just the second child that was with them, and he was a toddler.
Mm.
He was just a baby by that
Right.
time. But the firstborn could not migrate with them
Mm.
because it was not safe. It was not a legal migration.
Right.
So at some point in time, their father is actually a former Nigerian footballer.
Okay. Right.
So he wanted them to play football, but I think the kids got interested in basketball.
Right.
That's the second and the third boy, and from there, they began to excel in that.
Mm.
And gradually, because of just that, the parents were able to actually get a stay
Mm.
in Greece because of how far they've excelled. And with time, I think there are 3 brothers there now. Then they moved their firstborn to Greece with them. And he's the only one that is not doing basketball.
Mm.
So that is the Nigerian spirit in
Right.
them.
In them, right?
So now, that is why I say, for Nigerians, the responsibility for your family to make it could fall on the kids' shoulder
right.
and not the parents.
I know the parents.
Now, because of the success they had in their sporting career,
Right.
they got a stay and they're actually taking care
Care
of
of
the
their
family.
parents. Yeah. Wow.
So
Wow.
that is the typical Nigerian.
I feel like the best people that can tell about the Nigerian spirit, the Nigerian story, are firstborns. Firstborn of every family.
yeah, the
Firstborn of
firstborn.
every family. And then sometimes firstborns can actually be, I don't know the lack word, firstborns can actually be the assistant mother or assistant father
Assistant parent.
or assistant parents. Sometimes
By
firstborn,
default.
when the finance of the mother or father goes down, the firstborn, I don't know.
You take it up.
I live in a family where most of my siblings are in the UK, but I live in a family, not even in the UK, they're outside the country, yeah. But I know that it was still the same family that there was a point where 8 of us we had to look out for ourselves by the assistance of our elder ones, because it's not every single time that my mom would have the money to bring. It's not every single time my dad would have the money to bring. I remember that sometimes we had to go with our parents. Okay, we all know how they make this money. We have to go and join them to make the money. Sometimes I have to go to the site to join my dad at the site. My sister would have to go to the market where my mom is selling fish those days. And join her to cut fish. And after cutting the fish, you go carry it through, you go okay. I don't know if you understand it now.
Yeah.
Or sell pure water, or we had to join in, because I feel like the way African parents raise children, they will tell you, okay, fine. After they don't feel send you to school, pay your school fees for 1 year. That your university where you did, and you go to determine if you go graduate or not. And I feel like that's why the African spirit. I remember Zenith was telling me that the only school fees her parents gave her, or she got from her family, was the first year.
Mm-hmm.
After first year, that was it. And that's like the story of almost to your tent. It's like the story of almost every single Nigerian student. You understand? My family was at some point, it was everybody could understand. Everybody could know that, okay, if you don't do this, if you don't support the family, you'll be on your own. That's the Nigerian spirit. So the firstborn can actually tell. You're not firstborn, I mean?
No, first for yeah. Actually the last born.
Whoa, you cannot tell, bro. You cannot relate.
But I experienced it firsthand, like seeing my brother, because now I got told stories of how my firstborn was actually the one that took charge when my parents when my parents are not around.
Okay.
So he learned how to babysit right from being a teenager.
Yeah, being a teenager, right?
He learned how to babysit because he babysitted me and the likes, and he's a guy. So he
Wow.
learned all of that right with me. I'm not his own child.
Yeah.
I'm just his brother. So I understand what you're talking about. And one thing about all these, like you said, I want to take you back to when you see this westernization can actually phase out the Nigerian spirit.
The Nigerian spirit. True.
Now you're having I'm seeing a movie, Ozark. So in that movie I got to know about something they call a child that is not even up to the legal age of 18, where he or she can leave the home in the US.
Okay.
Now there's something they call the emancipation. So a teenager can actually request to be emancipated from his or her family.
How do you know?
So that means he or she can say,
I'm no longer part of this family.
I want to make my own decision, and she's going to get a lawyer.
Wow.
That will help her go through with that. And the parents cannot fight it. They can only appeal to her to not go ahead. So now that is what you have in our homes here in Nigeria now. Because of that stuff like that, now you start seeing kids that are saying they want to leave home. They don't want to know.
They want to make decisions on their own.
To make decisions.
So that's African parenting
thing, and we cannot shy away that the African parenting actually sometimes spoils out the Nigerian spirit enough.
True.
So that African parenting is every Nigerian spirit.
It's actually the propelling force of the Nigerian spirit.
Because the fear you have sometimes to
fail and come back
home.
What is a compensation medal that you just because you showed up? And it might be in sport, like you said, but it will end up becoming part of the child's mentality that, okay, I might not need to be the number one, but at least I can manage to be number two. But in real life, it's not like that. There's no medal for someone that has not made it. And I feel like that's what every single Nigerian understands. Go and see Nigerians in the US.
Yes.
They will work 5 jobs, 6 jobs, because they know that I cannot be lazy like these Westerners. I know of a friend that told me that she's schooling, all right, in the house where she schools. They are like, in the space where she schools, there are like 5-6 Nigerians staying in one building. And the only time these people see can be weekends. Because as you are coming back from your class, another person is leaving that room to school. As you are going to school, another person is leaving that room to work. They don't even see at night because many of them have 9 shifts. That's the Nigerian spirit. That's why they will say, of course, we know that Nigerians abroad in various countries actually get beefed. The xenophobia issue in South Africa. What are they angry about? The Nigerian spirit. And that Nigerians can come to their country and dominate them. Either our Igbo boys and our Yoruba demons can take all their babes.
And I think in Kenya and Rwanda it's a thing. They're like, no, in the bar. When you go to their bar, they're like, the Nigerians are the highest spenders. Like they spend. And they're like, when we work, we know how to flex.
Right.
The Nigerian will not just keep working like, yes, we want to save to buy a car, to buy a house and all the likes. But trust me, we also want to enjoy that money because we know nobody don't reach heaven, so we don't know how they do.
They can beef us for all they want, but the only way to spend and appear like Nigerians is for you to be a Nigerian. I saw it. Let me just put it in this right. I saw a content, quite a stupid content. They were asking a girl, say, of all the Asian countries, you must have seen that country too. They said, of all the Asian countries, who is best in bed?
Oh yeah.
And then they get in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
They have Nigerian knives.
them. You know.
Agreed.
A lady was also talking, I think, from Zimbabwe or Kenya, talking about how and Emeka, and when he was saying get a Nigerian
I think I saw
can,
that, but I didn't see.
you know, that content. So Nigerians can, I don't know, Nigerians have Nigerianized the whole world. Why we are taking time to talk about this is because of how people are going through a whole lot, and they are still thinking, Nigeria is crazy. The craziest part of Nigeria, there are people living in that part of Nigeria and they are just still very okay. They are just still living. It's not as if we are not praying for a better Nigeria. But what we're using this content to, this conversation to do is to encourage people out there that, whoa, no, they go to kill yourself. Nigerians are doing really great because of what is instilled on us. We are turning our pain to power. All right, we are turning our struggle to success. We are turning the stress, to something worthwhile. It says when you want to stay good, right, you have to take it through fire. I learned that our movie and music industry is actually the second largest in the world.
The Nigerians don't get time to chill. Just look at this Amapiano now.
The Amapiano sound.
Amapiano came from South Africa.
But Nigerians are taking it over. And even
Ashake.
They are doing it even better than the South Africans.
And there's this guy, I think one part of this guy is the Swahili. He was actually giving Nigerian credit. It is true Nigerian music that he knew about
Amapiano. And I think they were dragging him.
Yeah, they were dragging him and he said no hard feelings.
But now true Nigerians. Because if Nigerians jump on, I think the Azoto sound was a Cameroon sound. If Ghana, it was a Ghanaian sound. If Nigerians jump on your stuff, just know it's finished. Till tomorrow, apart from jollof rice, Ghanaians are still beefing Nigerians. Ghanaians are still beefing Nigerians because they are like, why would our music industry be growing rapidly? And their music industry is just here. Stallion, you can remember that there was a time that what's it called? What's Ghana movie industry? What is it? Gollywood. Gollywood was bigger than Hollywood.
Yeah.
Really?
There was a time that
Jackie Appiah, all of them, they are our reverend actors. They are our actors.
Yeah.
But when Nigerians vex, our boys they produce everything.
There was a time that to be a cool kid out there, you have to be listening to the Jay-Z, the Beyonce, the G Unit.
But
right now,
being a cool kid, you need to be
I don't know if you understand.
The Afrobeats.
Many of their capacity stadiums and event centers in Nigeria, they feel they sell them.
Yeah.
A Burna Boy can sell a stadium sometimes even better than Drake. Better, I don't know, but
It's just
a Whiskey or a Davido can shut down a full stadium better than many of their artists. I saw they said 1st September 2022, Stars Business reveals that Nigerian music industry is the second best performing entertainment and media consumption market in the world. The second best entertainment. This is because the Nigerian Spirit says, even if this music is not good enough, if Nigerians jump on your sound, even if it's a wax sound, it go blow.
And especially with this TikTok.
With this TikTok stuff.
I feel like Nigerians are the one that engage in TikTok the most.
Especially speed up.
Asians are mad too.
I think.
Asians, Chinese guys, they do.
That's why you see when it even comes to music, before a Nigerian will give up, a Nigerian will find solace in somebody like Fatai Rolling Dollars and be like, this man was doing music for donkey years, but see when he blew up,
they will keep doing and keep doing.
So a Nigerian will just find a story that aligns with his or her own time and say, okay, if Fatai Rolling Dollars would take that long,
I too can do it. And I feel like that's one thing with the movie industry too. They're just creating movies and creating movies and creating movies. They don't even care.
Sorry for interrupting, but you people realize that we Nigerians, we like jumping on trends. Like when this Idabasi thing started.
Right. Right.
The Nigerians now decided to start their own.
All the tons.
Even Guinness Book of Records have tire.
They said,
we have, I think they said we had like over 150.
1,500
entries.
And then Nigeria broke the record of having the highest entry.
And I feel like Guinness World Records said that the highest engagement they have had
is
Idabasi from a record holder is Idabasi.
Even there's this meme too that I said that this Guinness Book of Record you go regret say Nigerians took notes of that.
The Nigerian film industry in Nollywood is the second largest in terms of production output, turning over 25,000 movies each year. Sorry, 2,500 movies each year, not 25,000. And that amount has only been surpassed by Bollywood. That's the Indian guys. It therefore means in a year, an average of 25,000 movies they come out from Nigeria. Whoa.
Do you seriously? Nigerians are great, and it's just I think governance is what is not making us brag enough on that African being the giants of Africa.
Right.
Because if we have governance right, just look at the country now. How many jobs are out there now?
Right.
But according to statistics, we're having we're having the MSMEs in 2022. They accounted for 43.3% of our GDP.
Wow.
And
43.3%. That's almost half of the GDP. So what is government doing?
So now, and that is why I say every Nigerian is a patriotic citizen.
Right.
Even
on the low key,
because we have a toxic relationship with the states.
Right.
It's not giving us a lot. It's not even giving us it's giving us next to nothing. But it's not without the states demanding, we are giving back.
Right.
Because look at the MSMEs. The MSMEs are actually also employing 6.21% of the labor force.
Labor force, yeah.
And how many? And these MSMEs employing people are actually paying even better than the minimum wage of the government.
Right. Right.
So the Nigerian spirit is making the Nigerians make Nigeria work for them, even without the government.
So even if the government is to shut down right now, Nigerians will still have shut down, don't employ nobody.
Yeah.
Nigerians will still have a way to survive because the Nigerian spirit says, irrespective of the societal issue, the societal stress, Nigeria will always find a way to come out. We're about ending right now, but I just want to talk something. All those people in Nigerians do the package. Like we do package. Like packaging in the sense that a Nigerian knows that I want to be rich or I want to have this amount of money. A Nigerian will first of all want to look at it. Nigerians are the only ones fulfilling that scripture that says, call those things that be not as though they were.
I don't know Bible.
You don't know Bible. Call those things that be not, the last one, you know that part of Bible.
I don't.
I think you have a pastor in the house.
I know.
We do?
So that one, you don't know that part of Bible. You, Pastor Pikin, you don't know that part of Bible. He said, call those things that be not as though they were. Put the verse will show on that this because may I not forget the verse. It will show. It means that the things that are not seen right now, just start calling them for. Just start acting like that. Nigerians are the only one fulfilling that scripture because you see a Nigerian girl, she will not get shamed by. If you hear her talk in a public space, you would think, oh wow, this girl, this must be a rich kid, must have this a lot of money. But she has another part of her that if she talks with her family members, so you can speak this amount of local English. I don't know if you understand it now.
Yeah.
She might go back to one tattered house covered with zinc, but she comes out shining like I don't know if you understand it. It's
in the West, that's what they will tell. That's what they will call maybe somebody get bipolar or something. But I think an average Nigerian has multiple personalities.
We have multiple personalities. We know how to position ourselves to look the way we want to look.
Actually, Nigerians fit into the character of you.
I will believe
in that movie.
We believe in this. Look it
until you make it. Yeah.
Not fake it.
No, it's not. I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's fake. Honestly,
this is not fake. This is you.
You looking the way you want to be.
Like me.
It will be important we actually talk to the people that we are doing this content for. The 1% of the 1% of Nigerians that are giving up. The 1% of the 1% of Nigerians that are tired. We understand that the country can make you really tired. We're wrapping up right now, but I feel like we should all talk to these people.
Yeah.
It's sad that a lady, I think she was a DSS officer, we're trying to do that story for Hourglass, a DSS officer. Adetutu. She wanted to commit suicide, jump into Lagos.
She did.
She did actually.
She did?
She did.
Oh my God.
And I think there is one, last week or there about
another guy, not even last week, this week. They just recovered the body.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Just
recovered.
That Lekki Koyi
Yeah.
bridge.
Many of them are giving up. Or you see the way we're celebrating Nigerians,
Yeah.
they still do not know that in as much as you can be in Nigeria and situations are pressing, you can still come out brighter and even better. What would you say to Nigerians in that category?
I think what I would say is the never give up attitude. Every Nigerian should just find it in themselves and pull it out. And we can see like the great Nigerian story like they have the American dream. The great Nigerian story is always
A
in our
story of
faces.
yeah.
Every day
Right.
you keep seeing, when you go online, see the Jumoke,
Yeah.
the bread seller.
Yes.
Just by hawking her
Okay,
bread.
her bread. She was discovered.
If she did not go out
That
that day to
right.
hawk bread,
Right.
she would not be discovered.
Right.
She got discovered and see where she is at today. She resurfaced on just recently
Right.
online. So I think the Nigerian story for everyone is just
Enough to
you
motivate
you can
people.
be your own Nigerian story. You can be your own
Right.
inspiration.
Right.
But you would not know if you can be an inspiration to others if you actually give up.
Let's hear from Dolly.
Okay, I think the only thing I will need to say is we are all going through a lot. Like
Right.
everybody, me personally, I am that a
You are
lot.
the lot.
I am the lot itself, but still, I always make sure to pull up a smile every time.
Right.
And remember that giving up is nothing. If I give up, no evidence. No, I go to explain for God. I don't see evidence.
No, it's real quick.
Well, honestly, at some point you just feel like everything's going to be fine.
Eventually.
Just
Eventually.
everything-
Because actually,
You know,
eventually, everything gets fine.
If
Time
everything-
fixes things.
You know the good thing about it is that we might keep on like this ruggedness, like keep on going, and at some point it gets easier.
True.
It gets easier.
Just
So,
yeah.
just
Give,
keep
let
pressing,
time
keep
fix
pushing.
things,
And
right?
to reference that, if you look at governance in Nigeria, myself inclusive, a larger percentage of the Gen Z or our own generation was not actually very involved, or we are
In
very
governance,
nonchalant with when
Right.
it comes to government.
Right.
But I think just recently, it got to a point we knew that for Nigeria to work for us the way we want it to work,
We have to be right.
Governance
at the
is
center
actually
of
like the
decisions
core.
are made. Right.
and if you are not part of it, there's no way we can tune it to make it work for
Right.
us.
Right. Right.
And I think that is something that is it's key, and
Right.
I think in a matter of years, maybe 2 to 3 election cycles from now, I think Nigeria will start reclaiming its glory.
right. Davina, real quick.
And so now I'll just say to everybody that feels like they want to give up. Just like we are saying, there's the Nigerian spirit in you. Bring it out. You've once been happy, like you've once gone through something that made
If
you
you
happy.
have done it before,
So
you can do it
just-
again.
Exactly, like
If you are happy-
you've
if you are
been
okay before, you can be
falling.
okay.
Like, you've been falling, but then you keep laughing at the point in time. Don't give up. Just if you give up,
You fuck up.
we will disqualify
I
you.
won't give-
Real quick.
So what I just feel about this country as a whole is that there are a lot of trying times in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you navigate the trying times that really matter.
Right.
So approaches are more than word war, but remain never quit.
Aspire to
Give her that. Give her that. You know, there's this story of a guy, Billard.
Okay.
That Billard guy, the man Igbo boy trying to grow. He started doing exchanging of cryptocurrency, and now, he was able to come up with what's it called now, an app that helps people to recharge and use data very cheaply.
Okay.
I feel like one thing we've not said here is that Nigerians are their own advertisers. Many people don't know.
Yeah.
Just the way we say Nigerians package. Many people in the world, outside the world, don't know, but we Nigerians know that if you have to be who you want to be as a Nigerian, now you go package yourself, now you go advertise yourself, now you go push yourself. Nigerians are not the one reason why the Nigerian spirit is important is that Nigerians are not the people that shies away. They go say, Alpha, Stallion, sure you sabi do your feet build that something. You never do that for me. I sabi build that. We take up responsibility that we are not prepared for, and we try to prove ourselves to show that we can ace it. Zenith, before we go, real quick.
I'm really just going to say that just keep at it.
Right.
Because it's I feel like people feel like when you say consistency is key, they feel like it's a cliche word, but it's not.
Right.
Just keep going. One day go better at last. So,
Right. Thank you so much for joining on the conversation today. I should appreciate Stallion, creative director, Superpower. I should appreciate Tolu Goddess, Davina, Dolly, and Lois, and as well Zenith Z, and of course we appreciate myself. Thank you so much, man, for stopping
It's a
by.
pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think I've learned a lot from this conversation.
Right. With a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, I would ask that you follow. In fact, if you see one part of this clip, go to YouTube or go to any of the streaming platforms and look for the full video. All right, ensure that you share this content, and then you wait for the next one. I remember please just the call. The man will show up for it. I'll see you next time.